Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Y'all, this
just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. I'm Jeff. I'm trying so hard. I'm Tori. I am in for Jeff, and we are missing you, buddy. Hope you're well. Hopefully, also, love is enough. That's because TJ Holmes and Amy Robach are reportedly out of their jobs at ABC. According to TMZ, the Good Morning America anchors have severed ties with the network and will receive payouts on their contracts. ABC reps reportedly accuse the couple of various forms of misconduct, including liquor in dressing rooms, being drunk at work, and waiting too long to disclose their relationship to executives. Is anyone surprised?
I thought Amy would stay.
I did say that. I thought Amy that they were going to.
Are you surprised? Or this kind of makes sense to you?
I'm surprised that it came to this because what y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like honestly,
Erica.
What are y'all doing?
Will you
like,
expand on that? What do you
let's
mean?
take all of the like, oh, we fell in love, you know, like the love. Okay, love don't overcome stuff like this. Okay, I would be shocked if this actually lasted for a couple of months later. If one of the things that have ended relationships for me is someone getting in the way of my career ambition. That is a deal breaker. If you fix your little fingers, your mouth, your whatever to step in front of what I have worked my entire life for and compromise that, it is over before it even starts, honey.
Wow.
Over. So the idea that they are at the top of their game and they were brought down by something like this, it feels sloppy.
It feels messy.
Why?
Why? Steph, you're nodding. What do you think?
Oh gosh, wow. I feel like Erica's hit the nail pretty much on the head.
Yeah, it was good.
But I feel like it is a slight witch hunt. I mean, they're saying like, Amy's saying that the alcohol was planted in her dressing room by executives, which sounds like they're trying to like have another leg to stand on because it was a consensual relationship. It doesn't mean it was right. They both were married, had affairs, whatever. But I do feel like Erica said, this is like going to be so hard to come back from if they can, because where do they go from here? They were at the top of their game.
I mean, this is kind of what we talked about. You know, our EP, Chris and I, we always talk back and forth. And we were talking about should people date in the workplace. And I remember, you know, I think about like my parents and our parents' generation. That's where people met. People married, you know, they're called executive assistants now, but people married their secretaries and stayed together forever. But this is some of the fallout. It makes things uncomfortable. It makes it hard to have any other stories besides your anchors, which should not be the story in this case. That's why it's gone away. And it's such a weird thing because when Erica said, how are you guys being so sloppy? As somebody that really didn't follow the story that closely, when I saw that picture of them coming off of the jetway and like kind of the hand in hand, like you would when you were coming back from Cancun still drunk.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, what are y'all doing?
I know.
It was so out there, and I was like, maybe they discussed this because they weren't trying to hide it. It would be different if they were kind of outed. They weren't. It seems like they were just out and sloppy, and I think
I think the damage was already done at that point. The damage was so done.
The damage was done when it started because let's not act like we can talk about how did people meet in the workplace. This is not a how did people meet in the workplace situation. We have been following, if this was pre-Matt Lauer, this would be a totally different conversation.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you.
But there's not only a template, there's not only a whole paper trail, there's not only a whole news cycle that surrounds this. It's also one of the most, if not the most popular series on Apple TV. And it really breaks down a lot of what goes on or might have happened behind the scenes. And for anybody to do that after, like, there must be, to me, it just feels like, you know, when you know something's wrong, but it feels so sexy, you got to do it.
Yeah.
That's what that was. That's how it feels to me because it defies all logic. Like the first thing out of either one of their mouths should have been like, how do we do this? How do we have everything? Is there a possibility that we can get everything?
Yeah.
But not like this. It really seems dumb to me.
It is very illogical. I want to make a quick correction. Amy was saying that the executives gave her that alcohol and then they found it, not planted, but that they gave it to her and then they found it thinking that she had hidden it even though they had given it to her.
It's not about that.
It's not about
I
they just need extra excuses, reasons to
You're reaching for something.
You're
gotta
stretching.
really
That's
are.
right. All right, let's turn to this. I've been fascinated by this story. Pamela Anderson is sharing her truth, and there's just so much to digest. The actress's new book, Love, Pamela, and her documentary drop next week, but her press tour is already underway and we're learning lots of snippets. So Baywatch, as we all know, launched Pamela into A-list status, but it didn't make her rich. Guess what? She made a measly $1,500 per episode the first season and topped off at $300,000 an episode by season 5. In comparison, Hasselhoff, David, made around $100 million from his time on the show.
But you can't compare the two. That's chalk and cheese.
Is it?
He was already famous. He was executive producer of the show. He recruited Pamela. He'd already been on Knight Rider. He'd already been on The Young and the Reckless.
So there's context there in a way.
Yeah, that's a bit unfair.
Fair. That's
a little bit
First of
unfair.
all, it's The Young and the Restless.
Restless, that's it.
What did you say, Reckless?
I said Reckless.
But I was like, that's the show I want to watch, Young and the Restless.
The Young and the
You
Reckless.
should copyright that. That's amazing.
Young and the Reckless, that's great. Well,
Reckless.
also earlier this week, we did tell you that according to Pam Anderson, Tim Allen flashed her while they worked together on Home Improvement. He denies the allegation, but Pamela is actually defending him, saying, quote, Tim's a comedian. It's his job to cross the line. I'm sure he had no bad intentions. Times have changed. Sylvester Stallone is also making headlines. Pamela says the actor propositioned her to be his #1 girl and offering her a condo and a Porsche. She says she turned it down because if she's #1, then there's also a #2. Stallone is denying the story altogether.
And also a condo and a Porsche.
I was going to say,
Please, you better come better than that.
What do you, it's not good enough?
Look at the reaction.
I was like, I'll take it. Wait, really?
I'm like, Sylvester, is that offer still staying?
I'm in. Wait, what is it? I didn't realize that people like offered that. I'm so naive.
Oh, yes.
Apparently, he even
child.
said to her, which he's now obviously denying, he was like, honey, you're in Hollywood. This is the best you're going to get. And I'm like, you're in Hollywood and you're Pamela Anderson and you're earning $300,000. You can buy your own Porsche, babes.
Wow.
You're fine.
Wow. So what did you think of Pam and what did she think? This is my big question of the Pam and Tommy miniseries on Hulu, because she never got that okay from them. The actress says she has not watched the show, doesn't plan to. She says she felt run over after learning of the show from an ad. And from what she's heard, the series portrays a very shallow representation of her and Tommy. I actually disagree with that.
I disagree.
Pamela calls Tommy the love, but I'm not Pamela Anderson, so what do I know? Pamela calls Tommy the love of her life, but what about her marriage to Kid Rock? Kid Rock! Here's what she told Howard Stern about it.
When do you know, oh my God, this was a tremendous mistake? Do you know right away, or did you did?
Right when I got married.
You knew it was a mistake when the ceremony was going on, in other words?
Well, just after. Obviously,
Just
not
after.
in time.
So what do you guys make of all this? I actually, again, you always tell me about testimony teaching. I felt the Pam and Tommy Hulu doc actually made her out to be like trying to be a serious actress and no one would take her seriously and violated. But again, I'm not her or she, so I shouldn't speak on that. What do you think?
I watched the documentary as well. I thought it made her a very empathetic and sympathetic figure, but also it was her story to tell, so I can understand that if that's not the way that she remembers things or the way that she wants her story to be told, then that should be honored. But was anybody else shocked that she knew right away that the marriage to Kid Rock was
I was, as she said that, as you shake your head, Steph, I think there's probably, and this is just me talking.
I think I know what you're going to say.
I would say out of 100 marriages, I think probably 30 people.
No.
Just as they're walking down the aisle. Because
easily.
Yes.
Easily.
Because you say, okay, think about the pressures that there are to get married. When am I going to have a grandkid? When are you going to get married? Your sister's married. So there's people that are just,
behind.
Some people just want to get married to get out of the house. Okay?
Yeah,
so once you do that, now you're kind of locked in. Now you find out your 99-year-old grandmother's flying in and she's in town. Well, what are you going to cancel the wedding now? Oh, you already hired the caterer. You already rented the place. The idea that you can just back out, and first of all, I know some people that have. Day of.
Good for them.
Yeah. Hawaii. Yeah.
We're getting personal here.
And so, but they were happier for it. And it's hard, but I could see a lot of people would be like, financially, I am locked into this. She wasn't in this situation, but just appearances. I get it.
Well, you're financially locked in. You have everybody that you know and love is there. You're having second thoughts, but also this is a very real thing too. There is a realization that this is going to be the best day of the rest of your life. And after that's over, you got to go back to your same apartment and live that same life, and that's the reality. And I think that hits people as they're like walking down the aisle. And that's just, these are the things we should all be talking about, but no one ever does because it's not polite.
There should be a trap
It's
door
not
at the end
polite.
for you to escape, like
Yes.
last second, just hit the buzzer and just like you get to go away.
You want to know something? My parents always said this, and this is not against my husband in any way, but they told me and my sister, the day of the wedding, you will get in the car before you go in the aisle, and we will drive you around the block. If at any moment you want to drive away, we will. No questions asked, no thoughts, and it's a really beautiful
I
way
think that's a good thing.
of saying you're okay, no matter the money.
That's what you would do for somebody that's about to testify against the mob. We'll protect you.
Same thing, okay?
Same.
And I want to make it clear that the documentary of Pamela Anderson's coming out, we had a Hulu series that we were seeing before that. All right, what led to a black eye on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? I was even invested in this. For the first time, Heather Gay is spilling the tea, kind of. Take a look.
I blacked out. I don't know how it happened. I wish you had said that in the moment because it caused so much damage. I think that, an investigation was launched. People were interviewed. That investigation. I woke up with the black out.
There was an investigation that didn't find anything, and there was no additional footage, by the way.
So the black eye happened after a night of drinking with her castmates, and Jen and Meredith, they were out drinking. Since that night, though, Heather has made it sound like one of those women hit her. But she now seems to be backtracking that comment. I'm going to go to our special reporter, Erica Cobb. What do we think?
Yeah, Heather, you messed up, girl.
Yeah.
Big time. And there were a lot of opportunities for her to just come clean and been like, hey, listen, I'm a truly bad Mormon. I drank too much and I hit my eye on something while I was blackout drunk. I'm super embarrassed about it. I'm a mother. I don't want my daughters to be doing this. That's what it is. But instead, she made it seem like it's a whodunit and strung it along for the entire thing. You cannot make kiki and lightheartedness out of domestic violence. Like, nobody's laughing at that.
I agree.
So the idea that she insinuated that someone did that to her was a major misstep. And, it's a season 3 curse. I'm sure you can come back from this.
Oh.
Maybe.
Oh, my. Well, coming up on DBL, who is the most attractive man in Hollywood other than Al Jackson,
Of course.
according to science? And Nia Long is spilling the tea on why she got passed over for a role in Charlie's Angels. Erica is breaking it all down and what Erica's watching.
It's a new year and DBL is all the talk.
Let's get it going.
We had a lot to talk about last year,
I'm flexing every day.
and we're not stopping in 2023. I'll see you guys on the flip side.
Okay, for all of our viewers, I'm going to speak for you guys that don't know the whole Real Housewives trilogy, so I am a novice at this.
Trilogy.
I just saw a black eye, and
Yeah.
she's saying, what do you think that is? Because
Okay, this is how it happened. They went on a girls' trip. They were in San Diego. The girls had been drinking a lot, and then the next morning, Heather shows up with this black eye. But she didn't just come up like to the rest of the group and say, oh, I have a black eye. First, she started with one cast member, Jen, and there was this conversation on camera like, what's going to be our story? Then the next cast member they invited in, and they showed her. And so she made it seem like she didn't really want to talk about it. Like at one point she said maybe she fell or she hit herself. And then the other point she was like, maybe somebody did it. So they were coming up with all of these different like scenarios for what could have happened with the black eye. But where it really went rogue was in the confessional. So this is like after everything's taped, they're watching this back and they're kind of narrating what happened. And she was very elusive about what happened. And she made it seem like it was a whodunit. Like, am I protecting someone else or am I protecting myself? It was a game to her in that moment. And it didn't stop becoming a game until the audience started giving her backlash for playing about the idea that she was assaulted by another member of the cast because they were all staying in the same room or the same house together. And if someone was violent like that, then everyone should have given an opportunity
that could have happened
to leave.
from somebody else? Because the thing with black eyes, Erica, is it's just like, I'm not trying to be funny at all. It's like the only socket that like a fist could fit in. It'd be hard to fall
But see,
and
there was
just
a
have
camera
a black
in the
eye
room.
without scrapes on your face.
The network was required to launch an investigation, which they did. The cameras were in the room. They found nothing. So after everyone left, and she was the only one left in that room, at some point that black eye happened.
given myself a black eye before.
You have?
Yeah.
How did you?
So I was a kid, and I had like one of those baby cradles.
Right.
And I stepped on it from one side, and it came up and hit me on the other.
Oh.
Yeah. So I really think that she was overserved, and she shouldn't have made light of it because there's a lot of people.
Erykah Badu's daughter is telling haters to have a window seat. Hear the shocking reason why Nia Long wasn't cast in Charlie's Angels. And I have some sweet ATL housewife peach tea in this week's What Erykah's Watching. First, Erykah Badu is being called out after her daughter Puma posted a pic of the two wearing form-fitting pants and striking a pose from behind. Now, haters commented that the pic was a bad look for Badu, but 18-year-old Puma responded by saying, "I'm an adult. What's the real issue? Let's discuss." And Erykah liked it. Now, here's what I think about the cheeky pic. Puma definitely got it from her mama. We see you, boo. Next, in a recent interview, Nia Long shut down rumors that she turned down Lucy Liu's part in Charlie's Angels to star in Big Mama's House with Martin Lawrence. And the real reason why she wasn't one of Charlie's Angels might just surprise you. Here's what Nia said.
Charlie's Angels did not want me because they said I looked too sophisticated and too old next to Drew Barrymore. I was like,
If you've seen The Best Man final chapters, Nia's black has definitely not cracked. So let's take a look at Nia and Drew side by side, shall we? Okay, I rest my case. And finally, here's what's being leaked about season 15 of the Atlanta Housewives. The Peach Holders confirmed this season will include Candy, Drew, Marlo, Sheree, Sonia, and Kenya. Plus, it looks like friend of the show, Manetta, is reaching for her peach. She introduced Kenya to a new man. He's rich and just so happens to be white. And for some reason, fans are shocked that the twirl is down with the swirl. Let's just say, I'm not. So share with me anything that catches your eye by using the hashtag DBLErykahWatch. We'll be right back.
The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, helps millions of Americans pay for groceries. But some recent viral posts claim that Republicans are proposing changes to the program so it covers fewer items, omitting staples like flour and fresh meat. So let's verify. Is there a bill in Congress that reduces what foods are eligible for SNAP? Our sources are Congress, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the Iowa House of Representatives, and the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services. This claim actually stems from a bill proposed in the Iowa State House, not Congress. Among other changes, it would replace the list of SNAP-eligible foods with a more limited list from a different program. That program is designed to fight specific nutritional deficiencies, not hunger generally. So only an extremely specific list of products, down to the brand, size, and flavor, are eligible. Staples like fresh meat, flour, and white rice are not on that list. But this is a state bill in Iowa, and it hasn't passed. It's only been introduced. On top of that, even if it did pass, Iowa would then need to get permission from the USDA to change the food list, since SNAP is a federal program. And in terms of changing the food list on a federal level, we checked the current list of bills in Congress, and none of them so far address that issue. So we can verify, no, there is not currently a bill in Congress that reduces what foods are eligible for SNAP. There's only an Iowa-specific proposal. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter answers your questions, clarifies what's true and false, and even includes a daily fun fact. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
All right. Welcome back to DBL. Former Bridgerton actor Regé-Jean Page is the most handsome man in the world according to science. A cosmetic surgeon found that his face scored over 93.65% in terms of the golden ratio, which measures the symmetry of a person's face. Apparently, his gorgeous brown eyes and his perfectly shaped lips also helped his score. A close second, Chris Hemsworth. Then Michael B. Jordan in third place. And in fourth place,
Al Jackson.
No, handsome Harry
I thought
Styles.
you were supposed to put it in the universe.
In fifth place, Al Jackson. You're like outside in a mugshot.
That looks like the picture you take outside of a Kmart to be like, you can't come back in here.
Yeah,
or employee of the week.
That's right.
Yeah.
Steph, what do you think about him being known as the most handsome? Not Al, but Reggae.
I mean, they're all clearly extremely good looking, let's be honest, aren't they? There's nothing we can say negatively about them. But it is, there was a TV show when I was younger in England, and it was, I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it was like this attractive house, and there was all these weird challenges on how attractive you are, and one of them was you went in this machine and they scanned your face, and it was like to what tiny percentage was like your cheekbone aligned, and like then the winner went off to win loads of money or something. It was really crazy. So I've heard of this before.
The symmetry.
The symmetry thing, but I actually think a lot of people look better looking when they're not super symmetrical.
I would.
So it adds like more character and interest to the face.
I agree with you. Tom Cruise actually saw that his teeth were off by that symmetry thing, and he had braces put on to just move it like a millimeter. So if you see it, he like went all in.
That's, it's. We've kind of talked about this before in terms of, people being considered attractive. I get that this might be scientific, but when I talk to real people, all the things that they say are attractive are the things that, in a weird way, were probably airbrushed out of photos in the 90s and early 2000s. A lot of the guys that I know really like freckles, and they like a little gap tooth, and they like a little. I think human beings, in this weird way, we do understand beauty. But if you look at all of our famous actors, they all kind of have something interesting and weird, kind of different about their face that whether people find it attractive or not, it makes you look at them. Like, when you think about Steve Buscemi, he's not a traditionally attractive man, but like there's a reason that we like to watch him in movies. Danny Trejo, these people that wouldn't walk down a catwalk, but I think people like to look at them, so I don't know where that comes from, Erica.
Well, I think that I am someone who would say, like, oh, well, that's a very symmetrical person. And what I mean by that is, like, they're aesthetically pleasing based on their symmetry.
And also, you're holding a clipboard in a lab.
But that's all it means, because also a lot that has to do with symmetry and beauty is genetic, and it also is a value system assigned to something that most of us have no control over.
Right.
So when we think of beauty and the standard of beauty as currency, we're really having two different conversations, like what is considered beautiful and what's considered proper currency or the most currency.
Interesting. And I wonder if it's different for different cultures.
I was thinking when Steph, when you said
really
people won money on that show, I was like,
yeah, it was
you
crazy.
just been voted the most attractive person in the world. You don't need money.
It was really interesting, and they would get people's faces and show what it would be like if it was perfectly symmetrical. And a lot of people look very unattractive when they are super aligned.
You know what? Here's to asymmetry. Here, we'll be right back. Asymmetry. No one? All right.
In the cases of the 45th and 46th president, and now the most recent vice president, the Presidential Records Act has come up a number of times in headlines related to these documents. So what is it, and can someone actually face consequences for breaking it? We turn to these sources here to verify. U.S. Code defines presidential records as materials or portions of materials, quote, created or received by the president or the president's immediate staff, or a unit or individual of the executive office of the president whose function is to advise and assist the president in the course of conducting activities which relate to or have an effect upon the carrying out of the constitutional, statutory, or other official or ceremonial duties of the president. Law since the Watergate scandal, the Presidential Records Act means those official documents and records of presidents and vice presidents belong to us, the citizens, not the official's personal property. The National Archives lays out guidance for how administrations should keep track of these records and hand them off upon leaving the White House. However, Professor Michael Greenberger explains there's nothing baked into the law to force an administration to follow it.
The assumption, I'm sure, was when they passed the Presidential Records Act that once they declared the rule, no president would be so brazen as to say, I'm not going to follow the rule.
That's why there's also discussion of the Espionage Act. Violating that is a crime. So that's what the Department of Justice invoked in the warrant to retrieve documents from former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate when they say he failed to comply with the Presidential Records Act.
The Espionage Act says that the president cannot make these highly classified documents available to the public because that would endanger the national safety.
Because President Biden and now Vice President Pence are turning over documents voluntarily, Professor Greenberger explains there's been no need thus far to use the Espionage Act. However, that could change if it's determined the documents found in their homes or offices could compromise national security. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
An alleged recall of KitchenAid mixers is causing quite a stir. Dozens of viewers have emailed us asking about a viral Facebook post that claims that KitchenAid's attachments contain dangerous amounts of lead and that they're being recalled. So, is that true? Is there a recall? Let's verify. Our sources are Whirlpool Corporation, KitchenAid, the Consumer Product Safety Commission, and the Food and Drug Administration. We can verify that no, there's not a KitchenAid mixer attachment recall due to lead. That's according to Whirlpool, the brand's parent company, and confirmed by the Consumer Product Safety Commission. Verify traced claims about lead contamination in KitchenAid attachments to online and social media posts by Tamara Rubin, who runs the Lead Safe Mama website and social media accounts. Rubin is demanding a recall after conducting an at-home test that she says found dangerous levels of lead on the attachments. Rubin's test has not been independently confirmed. The FDA doesn't require kitchen utensils to be 100% lead-free, but does set limits on the amount. KitchenAid says any lead levels in their products comply with FDA standards. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
If your car is about to hit the 100,000-mile mark, it's time for some special maintenance, and that's today's Auto Alert, sponsored by Ox Car Care. So in addition to regular maintenance like checking your batteries, your tires, and filters, that six-figure mile mark should also include servicing engine belts and hoses. So the timing belt keeps your engine working correctly, and without it, your car can break down and cost you more than it's worth. Ox Car Care is dedicated to providing you with an amazing auto protection plan experience that works with your budget. If you're looking for better car care, give them a call at 1-800-687-1821. All right, I also have to get to this. Last night, Jimmy Kimmel Live celebrated its 20th anniversary, and Kimmel ended the show by telling his friend Matt Damon he didn't have time to interview him. We thought, why not end our show with it, since it's an ongoing feud. We will see you on Monday.
Kimmel. Can't believe I baked you a cake.